Hi, everyone. Hello, Quantum Tribe. It is so wonderful to spend this time with all of you. It doesn't mean that we're on lockdown, we can't do this. Hey, I am recording the meeting for those that can't be here at this point tonight. So today we're going to talk about moving from surviving to thriving. As we know, the quantum field is this field of energy that is ever present. There is no place that the field is not. It is vibrant, it is alive, it is an intelligent field. And this field is communicating with us just as we can communicate with the field. So right now on our planet, the collective consciousness is filled with fear. We are in the unknown, we're in uncertain times, we don't know what comes next, we don't know how long this is going to be for. So it's very easy for us to go into the energy of fear, right? So the question is, at this point in time, what are you adding to the field? And to describe, as an example, very simply, what I mean by adding to the field, if you remember, before 1954, we thought that it was impossible for a human being to run a mile in 4 minutes, right? And then in 1954, Roger Bannister actually did it. And as soon as he did it, so it's him and all the people that were observing what he had done, this new belief is now imprinted on the field. So that becomes part of what is available for human consciousness, right? So my question to you is, what are you adding to the field right now? Because the more we stay in the fear and the uncertainty, that is what we are imprinting on the field right now. And the more human beings that are doing it, the more of that kind of energy that we're putting out, right? So the field, we're communicating with the field, and the field is able to communicate back to us by showing us what we are putting out. So it's going to return that to us until we can make that shift. So could this be a brilliant opportunity that's disguised as this pandemic right now? And I know a lot of people will say, that sounds absolutely crazy. How can this be an opportunity? But let's dive a little bit into it to see how this could be serving us. So what's the effects of fear? When we go into fear, the body releases a hormone called cortisol. And when cortisol starts flooding your body goes into a fight or flight mode because we sense danger. There's something that's happening that we don't know, and we feel danger, so the body's releasing cortisol. And when this happens, the energy goes to your extremities, which means the energy is going to your hands and your legs, because you're either going to fight off this enemy or you're going to run for your life, right? So we need that energy for fight or flight, which means that energy is being taken away from, for example, your immune system. So when we're in a state of stress, we compromise our own immune systems, right? So when we give in to fear, it could turn into a self-fulfilling prophecy. And we really don't want that now, right? So my favorite quote by Albert Einstein is, the most important decision we make is whether we believe we live in a friendly or hostile universe. Right now, we think we're living in a hostile universe because we feel that we are being attacked by the universe, by the quantum field. But right now, what we're seeing is the evidence of the collective human consciousness, right? How much of the time are we spending in fear prior to this epidemic? So we're constantly looking at the crime that's going on around us. We're looking at disease in the world. We're looking at countries that are fighting each other. So when we experiencing and putting our energy and focus on all of these things, we are creating and imprinting this into the field. So the reflection coming back from the field is this pandemic that we've created, right? So how can this work for us? Let's look at the effects of elevated emotions. It doesn't matter where we are, we can choose how we feel, right? So it has been scientifically proven that if you spend 10 minutes focusing on an elevated emotion, so the elevated emotions are gratitude, peace, joy, love, those kind of emotions. If you can sit down for 10 minutes and be grateful, your body will release a hormone called immunoglobulin A, which is the primary defense against bacteria and virus. And let's look at how interesting that is, right? So that means if you can sit down and you can just simply go into a space of feeling gratitude or feeling peace, you arrive at what is called heart coherence. So when it is measured, you'll actually see it on a graph. The heartbeat becomes really, really coherent. And in this time, as we're doing this, we are elevating the immune system. So how we emerge from this, when we go back into regular life, are we going to go back into regular life with an immune system that is stronger or weaker? That is up to us, right? Can we practice this for ourselves? This, instead of spreading the messages of doom and gloom that's all over social media, the news, people are forwarding it on WhatsApp, all the messages are fear messages. Can we perhaps practice for ourselves, just 10 minutes at a time, maybe doing 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes in the middle of the day, 10 minutes in the evening, where we're just quietening down and going into this elevated emotions? Can we practice it for ourselves? Can we include the people in our home right now, perhaps even with a friend online, right? The easiest way to get into the space of heart coherence or the elevated emotion is, can we think of one person that we are truly, truly grateful for? Or can we think of something that we have that we're truly grateful for? Maybe it is the fact that you have a home right now where you can be comfortable in this time. Maybe you have other people that you love and care for around you. Or maybe you have enough food to eat. Can we focus on these things and go into that space of gratitude for 10 minutes at a time? Or can we focus on someone that we genuinely love and adore? Or even a pet that we genuinely love. So we're feeling that frequency, the vibration of love for that 10 minutes. Can we focus on peace? The easiest way to get into an elevated emotion is meditation. Meditation means I'm just sitting here quietly. You can use a guided meditation. There's tons and tons of it available on YouTube. Or you can just quiet your mind and set the intention to connect with the field, right? Let's start sharing our gratitude. In the Quantum Tribe group, for example, today I'm really, really grateful for. And what are you grateful for? When we talk about money and finance and business, we always say that we're the average of the 5 people we hang out with the most. And my question is always, when you talk about your frequency or your vibration, wouldn't you also be the average of the 5 people you spend the most amount of time with? Right? So who are you communicating with right now? Are we having these conversations of doom and gloom? Or are you keeping in touch with people that are of a slightly elevated frequency, where there's more talk of hope and healing and what we can do to support each other, how we can be of service? What is the dominant emotion that we are putting out? If you're waiting, you're not creating. Now, right now, we're in a space where we're forced to be on our own. We're forced to be at home, right? And it could be the perfect time for you to achieve transformation. Because the first step in any kind of transformation requires quiet introspection. So right now, let's say we're watching far more TV than we've been watching previously. Can we cut it down by 1 hour and spend that time in contemplation? Can we start using that time to be creative instead of just waiting for this to be over? Anyone that has their own business or even in your career, we talk about working in your business. So you become so busy working in your business, doing the work. Sometimes we forget to work on the business. Every now and then, a business owner, or even if you're in a career, you need to take that step back where you work on your career or on your business, where you're saying, okay, so what are my goals in the next 6 months, the year, in the next 5 years? What is it that I want to accomplish here? What have I done so far? You start looking at it and saying, right, this is what I've achieved, and this is what I have yet to achieve. These are the things I spend my time on. These are the things that work. These are the things I need to tweak. Can we actually start working on our lives right now? Can we start dreaming again? Because when we start focusing on what it is we want to create, immediately that part of our brain kicks in where we can start dreaming, imagining. What can it be like? What is the possibility? Can you see just those questions will start elevating your frequency, right? Can we, in this time, upregulate our body, our mind, our spirit? We have the time to do that. And this is why I keep saying, is it possible that we have an opportunity right now? A new you. So how will you emerge? Whether the lockdown lasts for another 2 weeks or another 2 months, we actually don't know right now. But how will you emerge? Will you emerge as the same person that went into this lockdown? So nothing's really changed? Or will you be more frustrated and angry and annoyed or stressed out and really worried? But we have an opportunity right now to create something completely new for ourselves. Now, my favorite author is Joe Dispenza, Dr. Joe Dispenza. And he says that a new personality creates a new personal reality. So if you want to change your reality, we've got to change who we are. And he has proven now with thousands and thousands of people, he's proving how ordinary people are doing the extraordinary. So on his retreats that are 7 days long, he's not looking at people that have been maybe meditating for the last 20 years of their lives, or they have any special genius traits about them. It's just ordinary people, but they're experiencing massive shifts in the space of just 7 days. There are people with stage 4 cancer that have cured themselves in that time. They've had vision returned. They've had MS and things that we never think can be cured, done in 7 days. So the evidence of it is already there. So knowing that, what can we do in the next 14 days or the next 30 days for that matter to really transform who we are, right? So the question is, what do you want to create? When I started Quantum Tribe in October last year, we said that the intention for the tribe was to create massive success and wealth for every member to create epic relationships, to create vibrant health and well-being. So could it be that now we need to actually go there and focus on this intention? Could it start with something as simple as creating a new morning routine for ourselves, right? So what neural pathways will you create in this time? Every time we think a thought, the neurons in your brain fire. You think the same thought again, it fires again. You think the same thought again, it fires. And eventually those neurons will wire together. And that is how beliefs are created, right? So we are living our lives right now as the effect of all of the past beliefs that we've created. And this could be a time for us to inspect those beliefs and let go of those that are not supporting us and not working for us, and instill new beliefs, right? We can either be completely and totally overwhelmed by the external, by watching the news multiple times a day, going on social media, looking at all of the doom and gloom stories. It can be really, really overwhelming. Or we can choose to focus on creating a new future right now. And an easy way, I'm going to give you this tool that you can use to do this, right? It is to create a persona. So when you create a persona, you'll give it a name, you'll give it a description, what are the characteristics? And then it's becoming that persona. So the example is, I have a persona that I've created called Queen Cat. And I'll tell you how I created this persona, right? So firstly, what would you like this person to look like? So for me, when I looked at different women, Catherine Zeta-Jones is the one that I think looks really beautiful. She has, she looks nice and slim and trim, but she still has the feminine curves about her. So I like that look. So the Catherine, C-A-T, is where I took the name, but I took the K from my name and I made it Queen Cat, K-A-T. Then you ask yourself, what characteristics does Queen Cat have? So Queen Cat is someone who is confident, who is kind, who is has clear boundaries. She knows what she wants and she knows what she doesn't want. She's not going to say yes when she wants to say no, right? So if you don't know me for very long, at one point in my life, I was someone that could never speak up for myself. I know those of you that know me now are not going to believe that, right? But yes, there was a point in time where I really could not speak up for myself. So if someone was being nasty or even being abusive, I would not stand up and say, you cannot speak to me that way, or you cannot treat me that way, right? I would internalize all of that. So stepping into the persona of Queen Cat means that I can be far more confident. I can set those boundaries. I can actually say no. I can determine how people treat me by the energy that I'm putting out. All right. So let's say I'm going to a business meeting. As I'm driving there, I've already created this persona of Queen Cat. So as I'm driving there, I'm stepping into the persona of Queen Cat. So when I arrive at my meeting, I arrive as Queen Cat. So how will Queen Cat dress? How will Queen Cat speak? What does she eat? Where does she want to exercise? What countries in the world does she want to visit? What experiences does she want to have? Can you see that? So when you're creating this, it makes it a really fun way to take all of your goals and encompass it into this one persona. So now that you've created that, each time you just simply step into the persona. You don't have to start thinking about every single thing. You're just stepping. And as you practice it and practice it and practice it, there'll come a time when you become this new persona. You become this new person, right? So there's your new personality that's going to create your new personal reality, right? I hope that's going to be an exciting exercise for you to try out. So the creation process is such that when you look at this character and you say, take one of your goals, let's say you want to be vibrantly healthy, and have tons of energy. You want to look amazing, right? So now look for evidence of what you want to create. Find a person that is of a similar age that you are, that is vibrantly healthy, they look good, they're taking care of themselves. Find the evidence of it on the outside. And it's easy to find that kind of evidence. If you want to create massive wealth for yourself, find someone with a similar background to you that is really successful in life. And we don't have to, we can choose the people because we're choosing it according to our value system as well. I mean, we don't want to create a persona for wealth as the bank robber, you know, because we don't like the way he's getting his money. So let's look at it as somebody who is adding value to the world, who is being themselves authentically and has already created that wealth for themselves, right? If you want to create that epic relationship, can you find a couple that is already living that epic relationship, where you can see the mutual love, the mutual respect, the understanding, the support that they have for each other? Can we find that? So all of that is us finding the evidence in the world that that is possible for us. Because immediately we say, if it's possible for you, it's possible for me. That is exactly what Joe Dispenza is doing with their retreats. They ask people from the retreats to do testimonials. So these testimonials, if you find yourself in a place where you have cancer, now you're going to go and watch all of those testimonials of people who shifted their internal scenario. They shifted the way they think, the way they feel. They released all of those stuck emotions. They started forgiving. They started shifting internally and aligning with health and well-being. And this is how they cured themselves. So when we can see the process and we can see that it has been done, it makes it easier for us to now start focusing on that which we want to create. So can you intentionally focus your thoughts on what you want to create? If you remember from past sessions, the human mind, we're thinking something like 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day. And the majority of those thoughts are on repeat. It's the same thoughts we thought yesterday and the day before and the day before. And we wonder why our reality is not changing, right? So we have to intentionally shift those thoughts so it's matching the outcome that we want. Can you teach your body emotionally what that future is going to look like? So when you step into the persona, it's like, how would you feel if you were already that person? If you were already successful and wealthy, if you were already in an epic relationship, if you had already created vibrant health and well-being, right? If you're already someone that is happy and free and at peace, if you were already that, if that is the persona you're creating, what would it feel like? Can you bring in that feeling, that emotion into your body? So now you're starting to program it on a cellular level into your body, okay? And lastly, can you be still enough, quiet enough to allow the field to do its work through you? Because if you remember the session where we spoke about the 4 levels of consciousness, right? A lot of what I'm telling you now is level 2 manifestation, where we're going to focus on what we want to create. We're going to align our thoughts to that, align the emotions to that, align our vision to that. The last step there is stepping it up into a level 3 manifestation, where we can be still enough and allow the quantum field to align the people, the circumstances, everything that we need to create that to come to us. Okay, how exciting is that? So now we're working together with the field in this creation process. And lastly, let's focus a little bit on this question. How can I be of service? Because life only really, truly has a meaning when we're being of service. If we're here and it's purely for ourselves, it's only about who I am and what I want and how I want things done, then life can be really, really small. But when we start asking this question, how can I be of service? How can I use my talents, my skills to actually make a difference? So, right now, can you think of one person that you can support? It could be someone that's living alone. It could be an older person that needs their groceries delivered, that doesn't know how to go online and, purchase things. And can you help one person like that? Can you hold the energy for healing? So can we become extra vigilant about what we're feeding into the field? Every time we go into panic and fear, can we stop ourselves and say, hold on, I want to send out an energy of healing into the world? And sit there for a moment and visualize a light that is going out and covering the entire planet. Every human being on the planet is being covered with this wonderful, beautiful energy of healing. Can we send out the intention for healing? It may not be time for us to step out, but it's time for us to step up. All right? And I just could not resist putting this picture of Antonio Banderas here. Take the lead. All right. So, how can you right now in your life take the lead?